Thank you very much for having me today. It is a great pleasure to share those thoughts with you. As Paul said, I'm architect and researcher based in Paris. My main focus of topic is the border and the borderlands and how that power infrastructure is a constraint to the bodies and the movement in the scale of the territory. And today, I think we will interrogate together this idea of violence through the topic of the line, the border, but in widely as a territorial scale, but also as an interior scale, and how that constraint to body is not innocent and is an agency of architects and interior architects every day. The line is a fundamental act. The line is our main medium. For architecture to exist, we pass through the lines. This mathematical entity constitutes the foundation of our discipline. Every day, we work on defining inside and outside, what is paid and what is free. Sorry, I have to focus on you. What is paid and what is free, what is inside and what is outside, what is mine and what is yours. Every day we work on defining those limits, those milieux that will soon determine the contour and the environment of others to inhabit. Since architecture is an intellectual act, we shape the world and we shape our views of the world with that tool of the line. The walls, they are an order to the people that will soon build to erect a wall, a partition, a door, a post. That line is an agency on people. This physical act, this physical presence is an act of violence. Architecture should not be seen as bad or good in my words. It's just inherently violent. By delimitation, interior constraint on our bodies dictate the way we act or we move, the way we be, or the way we are, or the way we should not be. It's not a surprise that I don't advise you to try to go against that physicality of architecture, because the end will be less fun than the stunt that I show of Buster Keaton's, because that physicality is a violent act. It can seem a lot of talking for something that is super simple as the lines we are drawing every day. But those lines, I repeat it, they are not innocent. This act of delimitation materializes relations of dominance, a structure of power, and the example is flagrant when we zoom out of scale of the interior to the territory, as we use everyday architecture to defy bodies and their freedom, as we see in that research on territorial walls, as of examples in Melilla, in the Berlin Wall, or in the Gaza blocks today. That interior that we draw every day, these lines tell us how to behave, how to be and how to react to people and to react to the space that we are living. They materialize norms that are not questions anymore. The best example of that idea is the Neufert that I honestly and innocently use every day, but that norms, they shape the way we are drawing, the way the world is shaped. It allows certain bodies and not others. It shows how systems of normalcy and control are embedded in spatial structure. What you can or cannot be, what you can do or cannot do, what typologies are allowed and not allowed, and what the word should be or should not be. But as I said, those lines are mathematical. They are abstract. They are infinite thin. in the mathematical world, but in reality, life is not Euclidean. That reality cannot be. They share the sharp boundary often represent a legal system. As I said, what is yours and what is mine. In the property regime, the line or the wall enact what theory proclaims. This is mine, this is yours. But in reality, that line produces two spaces governed by distinct laws, and in the end, there is always a space between. This legal abstraction cannot exist in the tangible world as an infinitely thin screen, as Euclid said. The interior manipulates matter, substances that inherently possess dimensions. This in-between is always a space of opportunity. What we cannot see is a space of project. Every day, especially nowadays in architecture, this limit is an accumulation of materials, of elements. They are stacked, joined, layered, defining one milieu from another. That boundary we fabricate acquires a physical amplitude that contradicts the theoretical status of the line. There is always a cladding, there is always something inside it. This legal abstraction cannot exist, and therefore we have to see it or to make it a project. The interior manipulates that matter, and the very wall I was talking about is an accumulation of wood, cladding, plaster, electrical wires, plastic, in between where air is flowing, insects are living, space for bodies can be made or taken. Here I quickly show an example of Philip Ram plan where the walls acquire a thickness regarding the temperature needed in each space. The threshold become a field where some things can happen that could not be inside or that could not be outside. For me, that interstice is a space of opportunity, a space of alterity with the shifting difference between self and other, and with the complex negotiation that this encounter implies. This ambiguity is an opportunity as practitioners to imagine new ways of living in between norms, in between comfort, action, or family format and structure of normalcy. I would like to continue this metaphor of the threshold with a quick fiction. Interstice is the project of an apartment of a voyeur, a person of questionable habits and behavior. That space is in between outside and inside of the very one self, and the other is a space of intensity of its case. It matters a kink, a need to look the neighborhood passing by all day. In that fiction, that intensity, that absence of rules predefined in between is showcased by ornaments. The space where the threshold is becomes a triangle, a tangible space for its specific needs. So here we see that threshold became a space of intensity where the apartment is something blank, something quite simple, and where all the intensity and the use of architecture is put on the door. This fiction can be a bit absurd, but is an invitation to hope, to look at those gaps as a space of opportunity, to look at that in-between that is inherently linked to the Geneva housing history. As a moment to invent ways of living, as for example in Îlot 13 or in Reno and the history of the squat of Geneva, that rule and that kind of legal system that I was talking about was a gap. And that gap was lived and taken to invent new ways of living, new ways of interacting together, and new ways of behaving and living architecture. To kind of conclude quite quickly that violence for me is not necessarily a place of good or bad, but only if we are conscious about it. If we take those gaps and that intensity in between, we can make project. That space is not a line that is invisible or infinitely thin, but is a space of project and where we can act, where we have agency. And to conclude, I just showcased an image of the periphery of Chicago in the last century, where house music was invented. In that periphery, bodies were outside of the rules, outside of legal system or systems of normalcy that we usually believe. And in that kind of gap in between, a lot of things can happen, a lot of things can be reinvented. And for me, that violence can be outside, but the in-between can surely be a space of opportunity. Thank you. Well, super quick.